Well, that's right. It's Christmas time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Sunday gathering. If I'm correct, this is our fourth Christmas together, right? Wow. If we haven't met yet, I am Sandra. I'm here with my dearest friends, Kerry and Phil. It is Christmas Eve in many parts of this land. And to our friends down under, you are already on Christmas Day. So, whatever day it is, or whatever holiday you enjoy right now. We are just so grateful that you get to be part of our Sunday gathering and we get to be part of yours today. And I know we come from all over the world and we are here to inspire, to lift hearts, to join in camaraderie, and to join the two worlds. And I know I make announcements later, but if you have not yet registered, just a half hour after we end our Sunday gathering, we're going to join Kerry and Phil in a private Zoom room with some holiday cheer. So we'll post that link again. If you want to register, it's free. It's just time that we can be together, see you guys and gals, and that we can celebrate. So with that, Phil has created our theme today. Of course, it's Christmas time, but I'm going to turn it over to Phil for the proper welcome and to let you know our order of service today.
Thank you, Sandra, for that wonderful and welcoming introduction. It's always one of the greatest things that we hear on the Sunday gathering is that introduction that Sandra does that pulls us all in and gives us that inspiration in those first few seconds. That's for me what the Sunday gathering is about welcoming a community and giving them inspiration. Because even though we come from a background of mediumship, and mediumship's about inspiring the living, so is the Sunday gathering. It's about inspiring the start of the week. And what better way than to say, Merry Christmas, everyone? It's that special time of the year. And even though we're here with you on this Christmas Eve here in the UK, it's about coming together as that community with love in our hearts, inspiration within our minds and souls, but that smile upon our faces that is infectious because it causes others to smile as well. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we have the wonderful Sandra Champlain, we have the magnificent Kerry MacLeod, and you have me as well, the little old me. There we go. It will be an absolute pleasure, as always, to speak with you, to do the mediumship. But we'll have Kerry doing the prayers, we'll have Sandra doing the reading and the healing, as well as part of the address. And as you know, the hostess with the mostess in the middle with the mediumship, and those announcements. We look forward to that for this coming week. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Kerry, knowing that this week's theme is Merry Christmas and all the joy that it brings to you.
So please join with me in prayer. Divine, ever-present Father, regardless of which religion we walk into this season from, we hold in our hearts that we walk towards the end of one year and the beginning of next, a time that holds within it holidays, cheer, love, and fun. It also, for many, represents a time where memories of holiday with family and friends are what we are left with, and they are cherished. Within this Sunday gathering, we know that we will walk down memory lane. We know that we will look forward into the future, and we know that we will be cognizant of the current moment. For it's in this current moment we make our plans for moving forward. We know our loved ones in the spirit world are close to us at this time. We know our pets are close to us. We know our memories create that link with the spirit world, never to be broken. So may we bring together families of all shapes and sizes, backgrounds and understandings within this place of the Sunday gathering for the next little while. Amen.
Thank you so much, Kerry. And you have me for the reading. All right. This is a very heartwarming, inspiring Christmas story that I found. It's just a small white envelope tucked among the branches of our Christmas tree. No identification, no inscription. It has peeked through the branches of our tree for the past 10 years or so. It all began because my husband, Mike, hated Christmas. Oh, not the true meaning of Christmas, but the commercial aspects of it. Overspending, the frantic running around at the last minute to get a tie for Uncle Harry, and the dusting powder for Grandma. The gifts given in desperation because you just can't think of anything else. Knowing he felt this way, I decided one year to bypass the usual shirts, sweaters, ties, socks, and so forth. I reached for something special just for Mike. The inspiration came in an unusual way. Our son Kevin, who was 12 that year, was wrestling at the junior level at the school he attended. And shortly before Christmas, there was a non league match against a team sponsored by an inner city church. These youngsters, dressed in sneakers so ragged that shoestrings seemed to be the only thing holding them together. They presented a sharp contrast to our boys in their spiffy blue and gold uniforms and sparkling new wrestling shoes. As the match began, I was alarmed to see that the other team was wrestling without any headgear, a kind of light helmet designed to protect a wrestler's ears. It was obvious from the ragtag team that obviously they couldn't afford this equipment. Well, we ended up walloping them. We took every weight class, and as each of their boys got up from the mat, he swaggered around in his tattered apparel with false bravado, a kind of street pride that couldn't acknowledge defeat. Mike, seated beside me, shook his head sadly and said, "I wish one of those boys could have won. They have a lot of potential, but losing like this could take the heart right out of them." Mike loved kids, all kids, and he knew them, having coached Little League, football, baseball, and lacrosse. That's when his idea for his present came. That afternoon, I went to a local sporting goods store and bought an assortment of wrestling headgear and shoes and sent it to them, to that inner city church, anonymously. On Christmas Eve, I placed the envelope on the tree, the note inside telling Mike what I had done and that this was his gift from me. His smile was the brightest thing about Christmas that year and in succeeding years. For each Christmas, I followed the tradition, one year sending a group of mentally handicapped youngsters to a hockey game. Another year, a check to a pair of elderly brothers whose home had burnt to the ground the week before Christmas. And so on and so on. The envelope became the highlight of our Christmas. It was always the last thing to be opened on Christmas morning, and our children, ignoring their new toys, would stand with their wide-eyed anticipation as their dad lifted the envelope from the tree to reveal its contents. As the children grew, the toys gave way to more practical presents, but the white envelope never lost its allure. The story doesn't end there. You see, we lost Mike last year to dreaded cancer. When Christmas rolled around, I was still so wrapped up in grief that I barely got the tree up. But Christmas Eve found me placing a white envelope on the tree. And in the morning, it was joined by 3 more. Each of our children, unbeknownst to the others, had placed an envelope on the tree for their dad. Chokes me up reading this. The tradition has grown and someday will expand even further with our children, with our grandchildren, standing around the tree with wide-eyed anticipation, watching as their fathers take down the envelope. Mike's spirit, like the Christmas spirit, will always be with us. May we all remember each other and the real reason for this season, and his true spirit this year and always. God bless. Pass this along to your friends and loved ones. So that story that I just read was written in 1982 by Nancy Gavin, who won first place for this story, and it appeared in Woman's Day magazine that year. Unfortunately, Nancy passed away from cancer 2 years after the story was published. But now, here we are in 2023, 40 years later. Her son, Kevin, says the tradition continues on today. Mike and Nancy's children and their grandchildren and great-grandchildren still do good deeds for others and have that white envelope on their Christmas trees. He says, it gives me and my family great joy to know that it lives on and has hopefully inspired others to reach out and make a difference in a way that truly honors the spirit of Christmas. So that is a very special story. And if you want to take that white envelope on board or do some kind of it yourself, it really just shares what a bit of kindness can do. And it can be a present in so many ways to so many people. So with that, we are going to sit for our healing. We have a beautiful song by Nat King Cole that Phil has found for us. And as we sit for healing, if you'd like to watch the video or if you'd just like to close your eyes and listen to the music, that's okay. But I know many in our community and in our families and our friends are in need of some healing. And we all know the state of the world these days. And this is just an opportunity for us to send that love and healing and to picture the world and the people and maybe even pets in it, healthy, well, happy in this holiday time. And let the spirit world use our energy however they see fit to provide healing to where in the world it goes. And of course, every time we offer our healing, some get saved for us as well. So here's our healing song, and then you'll hear from all of us for the address.
Isn't that such a beautiful song? As I heard Phil picking the songs, for anybody that wants to know how much time and effort goes into picking songs, Sandra, Darren, Phil and myself take hours to think about the songs and the theme. And this week was no different. Phil was in a corner listening to all of his favourite Christmas songs, holiday songs, songs about this time of year. And when I heard he picked that one for the healing moment, it seemed perfect. At this time of year, there is many people around about the world who are walking into this moment excited. When we think about the meanings of Christmas, we know the story of a baby, we know the story of the star, and we know the story of that leader, that spiritual leader that many in this world choose to follow. We also know about a gentleman in a red suit and a black belt and a white hat.
It's not me.
No, it's not you. We also know lots of stories about different meanings for this time of year. But regardless of which background, faith or belief we come from, this is a time where we begin to appreciate those that are around us. And I include those in the spirit world as well. We know that when we pass from this world and transition to the next, the spirit world welcomes us. There is a huge party on that side when we go. They welcome us back and we say farewell here. At the birth of a child, they say farewell in the spirit world, and we celebrate the coming of a baby into our world. We're very lucky that this is our 4th year that we've been able to spend this holiday time with people like you. We have our families, our parents, our children, our friends that we can see physically face to face. But we have so many just like you that we can spend time. For instance, last year we were here on Christmas Day. we put off our Christmas dinner to do this and then had our Christmas dinner and a little tipple afterwards. Today will be no different. We've got our dinner waiting on us. We've got a little tipple. Yes, you're allowed one.
Am I allowed one? I'm not allowed. Doctor's
Waiting on
orders,
us.
not allowed one.
But we know that some of you are on your own at the moment, and that to see, well, at least my cheery face and Sandra's cheery face, and Phil's, of course. He's got something growing on it. Will be maybe one of the only faces you will see today. But I would like to read out something from a lady who emailed this to us. It's not written by us, it's written by a beautiful soul and a beautiful lady called Rosemary. And I know you are smiling right now, Rosemary, and I hope you're not going to blush because I'm about to read it out. She made a poem for us. Now, Rosemary has been with us twice face-to-face at events and is able in a very special way to communicate with the spirit world. And I'm going to read her words out to you. You haven't read this fully.
I haven't.
I've read it many times, so I'll hopefully get it right, Rosemary. Rosemary writes, "My gratitude places both of you on a pedestal, though neither of you want to be there. Just folks who live their lives as others do, riding the roller coaster of life and pulling your hair. Yet my esteem I have you is at heights celestial. Your attitudes and egos are not rulers of your ways. Your spirits and souls reign each day and every day, unfolding a path for others to follow without guile, spreading breadcrumbs of wisdom to let us go the extra mile. Your belief in our diverse abilities make us sit on a throne next to you without notabilities. You are not king or queen by any means. You laugh and joke just like a couple of teens. You'd never accept curtsies or bows, only warm embraces and welcoming smiles. You welcome discussion and curiosity, enlightening us in your spiritual community. We love you very much, Phil Dykes, Kerry MacLeod." And that's from Rosemary. We've received so many emails, none as poetic as this, but we did ask everybody if they wished to email us and let us know what their year has been like, the reasons for that, and how this community has helped them, whether it be Phil or I or other members of the community. And it's, as Sandra read out that poem or the reading, I thought it's almost like the white envelope, isn't it? Where we write to people and we say what difference they've made in our lives, what difference they've had, what impact they've had on our lives. We know that you have had an enormous impact on us. You turn up for the Sunday gathering, you listen, you watch, sometimes on replay, sometimes live with us, sometimes months, perhaps years after we actually recorded it. But we know that this is about sharing. That's what this season is about. There are different reasons that different faiths, beliefs, backgrounds, and understandings celebrate at this time of year. But there's one thing everybody has in common. It's about sharing. It's about unconditional acceptance. It's about hope. And it's about love. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you'll all agree that poem was absolutely beautiful. And it really represents not just ourselves, but the community itself, how giving they are, how much appreciative of each other they are. And that's not just here, that's in life, isn't it? Because we wander through the year or meander through a year trying to find success or achieve goals. And sometimes along that journey, we meet people that might put a spanner in the works or do something that changes the course of a direction. And sometimes we feel a little bit sour about it, but only to find that that little spanner, as we thought, was probably one of the greatest moments that changed our life, that enriched our life, that really opened our eyes to another perspective of life and to look at things differently and walk in a different way. Communities are wonderful because they help and support each other. And for me, that's what Christmas is about: help, support, caring, and just sharing as well. Many of you know us from the classes or on the Sunday gathering here or the workshops that we do, but not many of you know us from times before that, where service is really what it's about for us as mediums. There's charities such as Cash for Kids, where we would help raise money for them. Some of those children would only have one warm meal a day. So at Christmas, we would spend time collecting presents for them and gathering as much money for them as we could to make sure they wouldn't go without a meal over Christmas. And even walking around nursing homes, speaking to people, maybe where they were on their own. And sometimes we wonder how it would feel. Well, unfortunately, I can say I've experienced it where I had a Christmas on my own. My family had gone away, and due to circumstances, I had to stay behind. And to really watch everybody enjoying themselves and not being able to share it with somebody really wrenched at my heartstrings. And it made me really think of what people go through when they're on their own, not just at Christmas, but every day of their lives. And to receive people coming up and smiling and asking if I was okay and offering to spend time with me was very touching. And it motivated me in such a way that we, from that point on, moving forward, would organise things on Christmas Day for the churches, providing meals, inviting people round, inviting people out of those nursing homes to come together in a community to make friends in order that they would have people to speak to, not just on Christmas, but actually through the year. It's incredible to see what human kindness can do and to sit back and watch people laugh and cheer and smile and tell jokes and share memories, because that's what Christmas is about. History shows us, even in great wars, that different sides came together and celebrated playing football in no man's land. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if they can do that, then why don't we put our words down, social media down, and make a telephone call or reach out by letter, as Sandra's mentioned that lady did, that white envelope? Or why not even go and knock on the door of your neighbour and just offer that kind hand of friendship, a smile, a warmth of a story, a moment shared that won't be forgotten, that might make somebody's life change in that moment. For me, that is what Christmas is about: coming together, sharing of stories, sharing of moments, and letting people see you, hear you, and feel you. Because we know one thing in life: we may forget the things that people do for us, but we'll never forget how they made us feel in that moment. If we've been given monies, if we've been shared presents, we'll remember them. But that moment that we received is the moment that we remember. And I always remember the first time I met Kerry and the very first Christmas we spent together, and the present that she gave me, a little envelope with a few words within it, the card, as everyone normally expects to get. But as I read the words of that card, it really reminded me of who I was, what I have in Kerry, and what I have in life. And every day that I work as that medium, I stand in the footsteps of those in the spirit world sharing their lives, but every other medium that has ever gone before me. So I'm standing in the footsteps of giants, footsteps that were paved a way for me to help others. Mediumship might bring comfort and inspire the living, but actually it touches your soul. And I remember my first reading I ever received and how it inspired me to be better, to be grateful, but also to help others. Because that experience helped me understand what mediumship was really about: changing people's lives. So sharing a moment, enjoying a moment, in sharing a few words really does change people's lives. And I know in this moment this time of year and every other, we need those moments. Let's put those things down that cause pain and let's just share love, love that lasts for eternity. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Kerry and Phil. And for everyone who's joining us today, you might feel that you may be alone, or maybe with just one other person, or maybe you just left the family just to be with us at the Sunday gathering. I don't know how many people are sitting with another person, but if I just count the numbers that I know and see, we've got 105 people here. That's a big deal for our Sunday gathering, Christmas Eve or Christmas morning for some edition. We're family, we're together. It may seem like it's just you looking at a screen, a phone or an iPad or your computer, but we are a very real community, and we care, we love you, we support you, and we're here for you. Absolutely. So I just wanted to share that we're not alone. When we grieve, we think of grief, we think of when a loved one passes. And of course, we know it can be for other times as well. But I know the grief that I feel here at holiday time, it's not just loved ones who have passed. And I know I'm preaching to the choir because you guys know this as well. It's that families aren't the same as they were, or maybe we're grieving like how things should be. I at one point thought I'd be married with kids and grandchildren and all that, and life didn't go that way. And I'm kind of glad, because I wouldn't be doing this right now. So I think it's just perfect. But I know for my mom, she thought maybe Christmases would represent being with her kids and grandchildren. And it's just a quiet Christmas with mom and I and our squirrels and turkeys and birds and things. And that's okay. So I want to ask everybody, just be gentle on yourself with where you are, because what you might feeling and you might be trying to brush off, it's all grief. And grief, as we know, can take on a life of its own. We can't push it away. We can experience it, but we can do some things. And Kerry and Phil were so kind to read Rosemary's beautiful poem and those words from Phil. It reminded me when I was a youth, I went on a weekend retreat. I grew up in the Catholic faith every year of my life. I went to Catholic school with those uniforms. But on this weekend retreat, it was a time for us, yes, to be together with Christianity, but also a time to let each one of us know how special we were and how loved we were. And what we didn't know as young people is that the people who organized this retreat reached out to our family and to our friends, and they encouraged people in our lives to write a personal letter to me about what I meant to them in their life. And I didn't remember that until Kerry was reading Rosemary's poem. I completely forgot about that. And what a difference it was. Of course, I was crying like no other, because parents have a tough job with their kids. But to hear the words and who I was to them and how loved I was and all my special quirks and why they love me, it was really special. And then my mind went automatically to my aunt, Donna, which I know some of you know. And for her 50th birthday, over 20 years ago, I planned a surprise party for her. And I must have remembered these letters because I asked everyone, instead of bringing her a gift, write a letter about how she's impacted you or how much you love her, something along that line. And instead of a table for presents, I had a treasure chest. Just a little treasure chest. Well, it was pretty good size. I had it all decorated. And people put their letters in there. And once the party was over and Donna went through those, she couldn't stop crying. It was an opportunity really to understand who you are in somebody's eyes. So on this day and the next days coming up in the holiday time, while grief is certainly present in our lives, I think the biggest gift, whether it's Rosemary's poem or Kerry and Phil and all their volunteer work, it's that being of service. And yes, if you can volunteer time, absolutely do that. But what if, and this idea just came to me, what if we write some letters and, like Phil mentioned, social media? Maybe they can be handwritten letters if it's people in your life. Maybe if it's friends you haven't seen in a long time. Taking a little time to give and be of service that way, letting people know what they mean to you and why. So I think as human beings, we always have a choice. You know, we all have that little mind inside of us that likes to make people wrong, and it likes to, oh, stew in the past or worry about the future. That's just part of being human. We all have that. But we have that choice any given moment. Can we put in a little gratitude instead of what we don't have, what we do have? I can tell you that's what my mom and I are doing. We decided this year that we're not going to give each other Christmas gifts because, you know, let's face it, we have everything we need. We really do. And life is really better being lived simply. So we don't need much. We don't need much at all. So we've been calling this the 12 days of Christmas. And even though it hasn't really been 12 days, we've decided to just experience things together, talk about things, go on drives, go to a new shop or walk around a new place, but just create a new memory. And so instead of looking at what we don't have, because that's autopilot, we've just been planning a little something into each day. And it could be just as simple as enjoying our coffee together and telling each other stories or talking about times we spent together that made us happy. And any time that we look at, those really good memories, it's usually involved with somebody that we love doing something new. So why I'm telling you these things is, yeah, I think when I'm speaking to you, I'm also speaking to myself and to Kerry and Phil, because we are birds of a feather, so to speak. We really are. In fact, if we could all be in one room together in person, my gosh, the party we would have, right? We get along so well. But the fact that anytime something comes out of you, positive, looking at other people, looking at ways of being in service, either small or big, that's when your light really shines. And that light, I know Christmas time is a time of remembering light coming into the world. Whatever religion or spiritual practice or your idea of God or the divine, whatever that may be, that light, that love, it runs through all of us. And I woke up this morning really thinking of the miracle of life. I had some batteries that ran out on some of my Christmas lights. And I thought, we buy these batteries, they're packed, they're charged. Yeah, some can be recharged. But the miracle of life that we are in these self-contained vehicles with this battery that lasts a heck of a long time. Add a little food, a little water, a little exercise, a little sunshine, a little fun, there's a miracle to us. So this holiday season and going into the new year, as that mind can automatically want to go down that tunnel of what we don't have, what we should have, I'm just asking that we look at the miracle of life, what we do have. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on others in your life. You have no idea what other people are dealing with. Send love, share love, write them a poem or a song, or just some special words to let them know how much they mean to you. And I think that can really transform your experience with the holidays. And like I said, I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to myself as well. So is there anything else yet to be said? Probably. I don't know. That was just what was here for me at the moment. What I am super grateful for is, yes, 4 years being together. This Sunday gathering that was just going to get us all through for a little while during COVID is going to be something that lives long after Kerry, Phil, and I, and Darren, who's with family right now, are in the spirit world. I have no doubt that you guys will keep this light shining brightly, but that we are here together. I am super grateful. And I have a feeling Kerry and Phil feel the same way, that no matter how we're feeling before the Sunday gathering, when it's over, baby, we are happy, over the moon with joy. And we hope that it does the same for you as it does for us. So please stay connected. If you feel a little bit alone, please reach out. We are here for you, and you are dearly loved. So thank you for listening to our address. And with that, my friends, we are going to move on to our demonstration of mediumship, because those friends and family members in the spirit world also want you to know that you are never alone in this invisible space around each and every one of us. There may be guides, yes, but I do know that our loved ones keep an eye on us. They continue to learn and explore and enjoy in the spirit world, but they also have one foot in this world. We won't understand it fully till we get there, and we may not even understand it fully once we get there. I'm sure the afterlife is much of a mystery as life is, but I do know that they are real, they're alive, they're healthy, they're well, they're probably their youngest selves, feeling great right now. And it's beautiful to witness evidential mediumship, especially from our two favorites, Kerry and Phil, who so generously invite those who no longer have a human voice to work through them, to give those messages of love, to let people know we're still here with you. And so when we celebrate our demonstration of mediumship, I know we have some friends that are here with us for the very first time. Just want to tell you a little bit about how this goes. You'll see Kerry, Phil, and I on screen here today, representing the 111 now of us on our Sunday gathering, Christmas Eve style today. We'll have a few members of the spirit world that come forth on behalf of all of our loved ones. They don't just appear on Sundays. They don't just appear to the few people that get the readings. They are just representatives of all of our loved ones, saying, we're right here with you. So as you hear the readings, as you hear the messages come through, pull them towards you, even if it's not your loved one speaking directly. It is, because they're showing us that they're with us and that they love us. So take those words on board for yourself. Kerry or Phil will invite a person from the spirit world to work with them. Of course, they've got it all figured out in the spirit world. They use everything they've got. The spirit world will use their thoughts and memories and feelings and maybe tastes and smells, who knows? So you will hear them describe a spirit person that has connected with them. They'll give a few initial bits of information. And we really want you to be on the edge of your seat, listening in. Spirit world knows exactly who's on our Sunday gathering today. They do. You think you're alone. They know. So they'll give a few initial bits of information about the spirit person. If you can understand all of the bits of information that they have shared, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, this is your time where you can go find that raise hand button on your device and press it for me, just to see how it works. Press it a few times. It goes raise hand, lower hand, raise hand, lower hand. And when I talk about these people in the spirit world that could come through, yes, they could be family members, they can be friends, they can be some people distant. The one common thing that they all have is they no longer walk this earth. All right. So if somebody sounds like a living person, you wouldn't raise your hand, because these are people in the spirit world. All right. So we want you to listen in, press your raise hand button if you can recognize all the information. Sometimes it could be two or more people that can take all of the information. So Kerry or Phil will continue to give information, so we get down to one person. When we do get down to that one person with their hand left raised, I will press a button on my side. You'll get a little pop-up that says host would like you to unmute. At that point, you will see an unmute button that pops up, and we love to hear your voice. Now, we don't want you to tell us any stories about your loved ones. We want our mediums to do the work. When they give you information, just say yes, no, or I don't know to the information that they give. Okay? Simple as that. This way, everyone knows that truly they are working with loved ones in the spirit world. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. If I miss something, we'll get it, but I think I got it. So just yes, no, or I don't know. And please don't worry about saying no. Kerry and Phil teach in their wonderful classes that no simply means new opportunity. To get more information and to clarify things. So what we always like to do is play a piece of a feel-good music before we do our demonstration, and listen to me singing as I talk, because I'm in that good ho-ho jolly mood. Yes, I am. It has 100% kicked in right here, right now. So as we listen to our piece of music, just imagine your loved ones in the room around you. You think you might be alone? They're there. The love never dies. You've got a life to live right now and things to experience, but believe you me, they'll be right there waiting for their hug when it's your time. So let me play our piece of music and we will be back with the demonstration of mediumship. Hi, everybody.
Hello. Lovely to see everybody. It is absolutely splendid to have a song there. I don't know if anybody can imagine it, but we were jiggling about on our chairs to it. It's an absolute pleasure to be here on Christmas Eve with everybody. And we know that Christmas Eve can be a difficult time. We also know Christmas can be a splendid time full of love. And if you're anything like our family, we always raise a toast to those that have transitioned to the spirit world. But we're going to do it a day early on Christmas Eve. So in your thoughts, as we go into the mediumship, every one of you that has somebody you love in the spirit world, send them a thought right now. Tell them you love them and wish them Merry Christmas, or whichever holiday you wish to share with them. Send them that thought and you will feel that thought coming back to you. Okay. I do feel like I've got a gentleman here. I do feel it would be Dad, and I do feel that he would have been a police officer. I don't actually feel like he would have retired from there in uniform. I feel he would have been a plainclothes officer, and I feel like he would have had quite a sense of humor. Because I know that he's given me, I'm trying to take with a pinch of salt what he's showing me here, but he would have shared some stories with you about some of the arrests he had done and some of the stories of people being in cells over the Christmas period.
Thank you very much. If you can understand all of that information, we invite you to press your raise hand button, please. And I know Angelina has raised her hand and Caitlin. Okay, so we have two with their hands raised, Kerry.
And both of you would understand that Dad was retired as a plainclothes, get my teeth in.
No, push them back in.
A plainclothes inspector or detective. I don't feel he finished his career in uniform.
All right, Angelina and Caitlin, can you both take that? Your hands
And you
say
both
raised.
understand that this would be Dad.
Their hands remain raised. No, let's fix that. Angelina, thank you. We have Caitlin with us. Caitlin, if you press your unmute button, we can hear your voice. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, Caitlin. So you understand everything I've said?
The last part I'm not too sure.
About the stories?
A little bit of that. I don't remember
Okay, let me go
exactly.
through the evidence for you. You understand Dad would have been a police officer and would have retired in plain clothes.
He retired in
So
plain clothes.
he would have not been in uniform. He would have worn plain clothes to his work.
Oh, he did wear a uniform to his work. I think I wasn't clear on that.
Okay. Would you understand, Caitlin, that your dad would have been an undercover police officer at times?
I'm not sure.
Okay. I do feel like this would... Caitlin, you would know where you've been to when he was still here, you went to your dad's place of work.
Yes.
And there would have been a mixture of uniformed and non-uniformed officers there.
A mixture, yes.
And you would know where your dad would have taken part in cases that were around drugs and drug seizures.
I'm not sure.
Okay, can
But
I just check? I'm not saying I'm not with you, Caitlin, but can we check with the audience, Sandra? I feel quite certain about what Dad's showing me here.
Thank you, Kerry. Can someone else take this information? I know, Angelina, you had your hand raised before. You took it down at the last thing that you had said. But does this information ring true to someone?
If nobody understands it as Dad, Sandra, then would one of our audience understand this as a very close relative? It would be husband, it could be brother, but I feel it's not going to be cousin, it's not going to be, it needs to be very, very, very close. He would have been a police officer, he then would have worked in undercover cases, and I do feel that he was involved in taking criminals around about drugs and things like that off the streets.
Thank you, Kerry. Who understands this, gentleman? Raise your hand. If your soul is giving you that little nudge, press your raise hand button, please. No hands are being raised.
I'm going to have a re-look at this. I can't change too much about it. I actually feel like I am in Chicago. I do feel that there is, if it's not Dad, somebody would have Dad in the spirit world, but they would have lived in the Chicago area.
Thank you. Who understands this? Naomi's got her hand raised. Naomi, hello.
Hi, Sandra. Hi, Phil, Kerry.
Hi, Naomi. You understand what I've said, do you understand?
The only part that I understand is that I had a father in the Chicago area.
And he wouldn't have been in the police force?
No.
I can't change too much here. Thank you, Naomi. I do feel that there is somebody not putting up their hand.
We have Lori with her hand raised. Hi, Lori.
Hi. So I'm not sure if I'm making it fit or not, but I have someone on the other side who is connected to someone with all of those things except Chicago. They're, I believe, still on this side though, but I have heard.
Okay. So Lori, would you understand Dad in the spirit world as well?
My dad is in the spirit world, yeah.
Okay. Let me work with this, please, because I can't change too much. And if it wasn't, you would understand New York then, Lori?
Yes.
Okay. I made the same mistake about that picture. Oh, I looked at a picture, ladies and gentlemen, earlier on, and I said, that's Chicago. And Phil said, no, that's New York. So I'd forgotten, I'd got it the wrong way round. Okay, Laurie, let me work with you. So you understand somebody in the spirit world that would have been an undercover detective?
No, but connected with them.
Okay. And you know your dad is in the spirit world, yeah. And your dad would have had quite a sense of humor.
Possibly the other people are definitely that are connected to that gentleman.
Okay, because I feel that there is a real sense of humor going on here at my expense, but I know you would have heard stories about some of the undercover
Yes.
cases, and you would have known that there were drugs and
Yes.
taking off the street.
All of that with the person on the other side telling me
Okay.
those stories.
Okay,
In
then
New York.
they must have also told you stories about then you must have gone into their place of work as well, Laurie.
No, they're home.
Then okay. You would know where they work though.
My
Just yes or no, Laurie?
did I know where they work? Yes.
Yes. And you would have, because I know he gives me the impression that you know where he worked and that you have been there, past there since he's passed.
I am going to have to say no to that part because it's a little confusing.
Okay, then can I talk about your dad then, Laurie? With your dad, he would have had Laurie, you and your dad wouldn't have always understood one another.
No.
Then your dad must have had
You know,
funny.
but father-in-law.
No, don't make this fit,
Okay.
Laurie.
Okay.
With your dad, Laurie, I feel like he wasn't the closest with you.
No, I think it's a different relationship.
Oh, I can't change this too much.
The stories are correct with different people.
Okay. Then I need to say, Laurie, that with your dad, he must have not wanted to be the center of attention.
Possible.
Because I have this incredible sense of 2 seconds, Laurie. Sandra, is there somebody else who understands everything? It's not working the way it should. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It is just the way it is at the moment. It's very, very important.
Caitlin has her hand raised back. Hi, Caitlin.
Hi. It kind of perked up when you said, because I understood that I would have went back to his place of work.
Right.
That
And
part.
you understand Dad in the spirit world.
Yes. Yes.
And you would understand that Dad would have had this tendency to not want to draw a huge amount of attention to himself.
Yes.
And you would also know where Dad, you and him wouldn't have always understood one another.
Yes.
Okay, this is where I need to be. Sorry, Laurie. Sorry, Laurie, I'm a poet and I don't know it. Caitlin, with your dad, I know there's a sense of him wanting to say, but I know that it's really important that he find you and that he is able to ensure that he's got that clear path of communication with you, because I know with your dad, he would have missed periods of you being you're being raised. Caitlin?
I don't know that he missed periods.
Okay, then he must have been absent in a way that he didn't turn up or show up in the way you would have needed him to.
Yes.
Okay, I know that Dad wants to share with you that there is one particular Christmas that has been tainted for you. And I know that Dad gives me this impression that he apologizes for not being able to rectify that for you. That makes sense, Caitlin?
I'm trying to think.
I do feel that I do feel an apology from your dad for not being there in the way he should have been.
Okay.
And that apology
Yeah.
comes forward in the way at this time because you have some unanswered questions about your dad.
Mm,
That makes sense, Caitlin?
yes.
Okay. I know this is your dad's way of reaching out to you. I do believe that he is with you more than you know. And this, because he is of that mindset of sharing an apology, this is the way he's doing it. Please know your dad is very close to you this Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and he is going to be there with you tomorrow. Thank you for allowing me to do that, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin. Thank you, Kerry.
Okay, I do feel like I have a young man here, and I get the sense that this young man would have, I do get a sense that somebody here would have swam in cold waters with him. And I do feel his sense of humor is, or a sense of adventure is very much there. And I do feel that this would either be brother or friend. And I know that you would have always had an incredible laugh with him, but you would remember in winter time or the colder months, swimming in cold waters with this young man.
Thank you very much, Kerry. Wow. Who can understand this information? Lovers of cold water in the winter. Oh my goodness. Press your raise hand button if you can understand. No hands up just yet. Oh, that's what happens. I say that and a hand gets raised. Linnea has her hand raised. If you could press your unmute button. Hello.
Hi, my name is Riley. I had a brother. Yeah.
Hi,
Okay.
Riley.
Hello, Riley. You would understand brother in the spirit world, and you would have memories of swimming with him in cold waters.
Yes.
And you would know with your brother, he had a very, very lively and bright sense of character and a really funny sense of humor.
Yes.
I feel like he would have always been able to make you feel happy when you were feeling a little bit low.
Yes.
I know too that he would have teased you, but in a very playful way, because he was the only one that was allowed to tease you. Nobody else was.
Yes.
I know too, Riley, that your brother would have spoken to you about some of his inner thoughts.
Yes, sometimes.
And I know as he shared those inner thoughts, you learnt quite a lot about the world through your brother's eyes.
Yes.
And he knew quite a lot about growing up. He had experienced a whole variety of different things as he was growing up.
Yes.
I know too that there were some people that he hung about with that you did not like.
I'm not sure.
Okay, then there would be some characters that your brother hung about with that might not have had the best influence on him.
Yes.
Okay, because I know that this is his way of interacting with you and letting you know that it is him. And I know too that you would have, as many children do, memories with your brother of trying to sneak in very early on Christmas morning to the room where all the presents or the tree would be.
Yes.
Riley, you would have a memory as well of him, your brother, pulling down the tree or tipping the tree over.
Not that I remember.
Okay. Riley, you also have a cat in the spirit world,
Yes.
and you would have a memory of that cat tipping the tree over.
Not that I remember.
Okay, because I know I see this cat almost climbing up the tree, and I know your brother has this memory, and I also have the sense of your brother and you would have shared jokes and shared them round the dinner table on Christmas Day.
Possibly, yeah.
I know he has this incredible sense of humor. I know that he would have very much wanted to protect you. And I know he gives me this impression that the year just ending, he has been with you in a really, really big way because you've needed him there.
Yes.
And I know he wants to share that with you, that he's seen where you've been, how you are, and wants you to know he has been there all year with you. He would have been there to protect you as a brother in life, physical life, and I know nothing's changed in the spiritual world as well. Please know, Riley, that your brother is very close to you, will be there with you today and tomorrow and every day following that. Have the memories of him. You were looking at it. He gives me this impression that you were looking at a photograph of him very recently
Yes.
and talking about him and talking about him, but also talking to him.
Yeah.
Okay. Please know this is his way of coming close to you, Riley. Do not feel you are alone. He is there with you, and speak to him. You used to speak to him. Go back and do that. He is listening. He's there with you. Thank you for allowing me to do that for you, Riley, and I wish you a healthy Christmas and New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, Riley. And your brother as well.
Mhm. She's gone quiet, so that must mean it's me, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you once more and to be here on the Sunday gathering. And to try and keep that power away from Kerry and not interfere, because it's incredible how Kerry was working and how I could see New York and different places, and I was like wanting to jump in, but one of those things we can't do, sort of thing. Anyway, so as I become aware of the spirit world, I know I have a gentleman. I know this gentleman is father, but I also know, because I'm trying not to laugh with him, he could be a bit of a big kid at heart. And I know Christmas, this period of time, was a big thing for him, because I know he could tease the person I want to speak to, because it just feels here where he would either withhold presents or hold a present back and surprise you with it as well. But I also feel with him, he would be a person that would actually tease you as well, trying to open your presents at the same time. And I've got memories of doing this with one of my children, but again, it's that sense of fun that I want to be bringing him. I also know as well with him, he's not the greatest of ages. I feel like I'm middle-aged. I feel I want to be around those 50s. So I know he's too young to pass to the spirit world, but I know that's how he goes. And I also get the feeling with him, it would have been his heart that took him over. So I know I've got dad. I know that he loved Christmas. I know it was his heart that took him over. But I also feel as well that he would have had his own business as like either an odd job man or somebody that would take on different projects. So hopefully this makes sense to somebody.
Who does it make sense to? Please press your raise hand button. All right, we have Tony. Tony, if you could press your unmute button. Hi, Tony.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good,
Nice to
welcome.
meet you all, and thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
Tony, do you understand everything I've said?
pretty much.
And you,
You know, he was my partner.
oh,
Just,
bear with
just
me, Tony.
perhaps.
Bear with
But
me, Tony. I did say dad, so let me just check on the evidence. Do you
but
understand?
we always, because we have 5 dogs, and we always said daddy. You know, oh, daddy's home, or daddy's
Okay,
home.
don't say any more for me, Tony. Let me just worry. But would you understand where he would tease you with presents and things and always hold one back?
Yes,
Okay, because it feels like I want to. Then would you understand where he had a really good sense of humor as well?
major. Yes,
Major, because I know here it's almost where I want to tease you, and it's almost where he could tease you too much, where you didn't know what he was going to do next.
yes.
Because
Sometimes I was like, yeah,
I just get that impression where he could push it a little bit too far. And would I be right in saying that sometimes he could wind you up a little bit?
yes, most definitely.
Because I know here it's almost like I want to push this and push this far, then I want to just make sure I'm with you. But it also feels where he would give you a present and either try and open it for you as well.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because again, it's just that sense of fun that I want with him. But I've also said he could be very temperamental.
Yes,
Because I again here and it that's fine. Because I did feel it was dad, but the more I link in here, the more that I feel that I've got the relationship wrong. But I just get that impression with him that it's almost where he could be a different person with you he could be different with other people.
yes,
Because it feels where I want to almost have a fun, let my hair down. Not that I've got any, but it's almost like I want to let my hair down with you. And if I said sometimes he could be a little bit abrupt as well,
most definitely.
that's fine. But to other people, people wouldn't think that of him.
Not really, no.
Because again, it's just this sense of I can have almost like a split personality with one group of people. I could show myself one way, but I want to say you got to really see him for who he was, Tony.
Yes,
And would I be right in saying that sometimes the reason why he was a little bit up and down, he would have suffered with like either depression or that low mood?
yes,
Because again, I'm just starting to understand him. It's almost like there's a front to him where he put on a certain thing, but it was to cover up what was going on in his life. But would I also be right in saying he would try his hand at different things where work was concerned?
that's what he did.
That because I know here it's almost like I want to do a bit of everything and help people out. It's almost like I didn't know how to say no.
Yeah, he was doing handyman work, and he would take on jobs, and yeah,
Because I know here it's this impression that I'm taking on things, and it's almost where I'm learning myself to do these jobs. So I know he has the right intention, but I know sometimes he didn't have the skill, but he had that ability about him to work through things.
right on.
Because again, it's almost like I don't want things to beat me, but I know when it comes to DIY at home, it had to be perfect.
Yes,
And it's almost where I don't want to, in fact, I'm going to use this as an example. It's almost where he would put up wallpaper and things, but it had to match perfectly, and he wouldn't settle until it did.
yeah, he was really detailed.
Because again, I keep on getting those, as you said, details with him about how things should be. But I also know around the home, he was that perfectionist. It's almost like I want to touch things up and make sure they look absolutely perfect. I had that
Yes,
critical eye. And it also feels where we would have gone round to friends and he would have, on the way out the door, would have said to you, so, oh, did you see this where it wasn't quite right? He had that real detailed eye.
most definitely. I always told him, you really are very detailed.
Yeah, it's very critical of things. But I also feel as well, now I'm going to be polite here. Would I be right, Tony, saying that his family didn't support him the best?
That's right on, right on.
Because again, it feels where I've had to do things my own way, and it feels where I talked about earlier about spending a Christmas by myself. He went through those hardships when in his younger life where he felt he was very isolated and alone.
Yes, yeah, most
And
definitely.
I know he would have shared these with you as well. I also feel that you were his savior, because I know there was a period of his life where he didn't want to carry on living. Understand?
Yes, yes.
And I know that you helped him work through that period. And I know I can't say that, bear with me. I know at times he was a little bit pedantic and unruly at times and a little bit hard work.
Yes, most definitely.
Because he says, you put up with my behaviors and you corrected me and helped me.
Yes.
And if I said you would have memories where he would have a go at people and speak
Yes.
his mind, and sometimes that tongue could be quite wicked,
Yes.
because he just said, thank God for you, because you stopped me at times going too far. Because and I want to say that you made his Christmas day, you made his Christmases, because I know before either the last Christmas we spent together was a pretty rough time for him.
Yes.
And I know he's so grateful for what you gave him and what you did for him as well. And I know you used to give him very poignant Christmas cards as well.
Yeah, man.
And I know you didn't just pick a card, you wrote the word. It's almost like I want to pick a blank card and you wrote the words. And it's those words that really touched him and changed and helped his mindset.
Yeah.
Would I be right in saying you've kept a snow globe he's given you?
I don't recall that.
Bear with me 1 second then. Then he must have picked all the Christmas decorations.
Yes.
That's fine. And I know there would have been where we collected either Christmas baubles where we visited places, almost like I want to go to specific Christmas shops and buy baubles.
Yeah, he was more into it. I didn't.
I know, because it's almost where I know he takes me here as well. But I know it's almost where he's trying to lift your Christmas and trying to remind you. And it feels where I want to get those Christmas decorations out and celebrate Christmas like he would.
Yes, and I was thinking about that too.
Good, because I
Getting-
know I want you to do that. I'm going to leave you his love and know that he's around you and he wants the best for you as well. And one last thing, I know you mentioned the dogs before, but would I be right in saying you line the dogs up and each one gets fed in turn?
Yes.
And it's almost like I want to give a treat to each of them, but in turn, they're all lined up.
Right on, right on. Yes.
Because he's just saying, I watch you do this every day. I'm going to leave his love with you and say, thank you for letting me. Oh, and you tell the dogs as well. You speak to the dogs, because he's just said, you keep on saying that daddy's still around.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave his love with you and say thank you very much for allowing me to do that for you, Tony.
Thank you. Blessings.
Absolutely, blessings to you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. As I become aware again, I know I've got Mother with me, and I know Mother is a little bit of a stickler. And it feels here that Mother wasn't the biggest fan of Christmas, I want to say. It's almost like forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, it feels like I just want to get it over with. So again, I know that she had this mentality. It's almost like just for the day. And I also get the impression with her, if I'm right, that it's like Christmas should be all year round, in the sense of if we need something, we should get things. It's almost like I don't want Christmas commercialized. So I know I've got mum. I know she wasn't the biggest fan of Christmas because it's commercialized in her view, but I get the impression as well, it's almost where she would have said along the lines of that we should be buying and celebrating things throughout the year, not just on Christmas because we're told to. So I know I've got that little bit of a stickler with it.
Thank you, Phil. Who can understand this information? Please press your raise hand button for us.
I'm going to go on, Sandra. I get the impression as well that I've got the relationship wrong, but I know I've definitely got it's either going to be mum or a grandmother, because I get that impression it's those old-fashioned family morals and values that I have. I also feel that I want to be in the United Kingdom as well, because it feels where I want to either be in Scotland, and I feel that we would have lived in a corporation house, like a council house. And I get the impression as well with her that she was somebody that was very independent, and I know illness doesn't get the better of her. It's almost like I'm a fighter. I want to work through it. So I know that it's that mentality with her.
Thanks, Phil. All right, who understands this information? Again, it may not be mother, could be grandmother.
I'm not going to change it. I know I've got somebody. Bear with me 1 second. Somebody's not speaking up because I know here that I've got I feel I want to just change slightly. I want to stay with grandmother. I know she would have lived on her own. It feels like granddad passed before her. I know she lived in that council estate. I also know where she lived. There would have been quite a view as well, because it feels like I'm looking over like either a town or an area. I'm at height as well.
Fusan has her hand raised. Hello. Fusan, do you want to press your unmute button, please? I'm wondering if it's by accident that she pressed.
I think that will be by accident, I think.
Okay, all right. All right, Fusan, I'm lowering your hand then. Okay. I got excited with a hand raised, but we do know accidents happen.
They do. I'm going to go right back to the beginning. I know I've got, I do feel that I've got, and in fact, I know where I've gone wrong. I know that I've got mum's mum. So I know the grandma I've got is on mum's side. I know that she was very much a stickler. I'm holding on to other information as well. I might bring that forward. But I know she's not the greatest for Christmas. It's almost like we get it done with, we tidy up the next day, and it's back to family business. I do believe I'm in the UK. I do believe that I want to be in Scotland. I do believe I want to, and I'm panicking now because I'm getting an impression of a young lady not sat too far away from me, and I can't do that one. So I know here, I'm not going to change it, but I know somebody's not put the hand up. I could be wrong with the UK, but I know here the relationship should be right.
Let's see. Caroline says, maybe me, but I cannot press my raise hand button. Caroline,
can we bring her in then?
Yep. Caroline, are you there, Caroline? Hi.
I am.
Hello?
Maybe, possibly. I can't take Scotland though.
But you are from the UK?
Yeah.
That's fine. Let me just, because I might have got the Scotland bit wrong. But would you understand with your grandmother that she was a lady that very much was, let's get it done, let's get through it. And it should be almost where we should be helping. It's almost like I want those family values with her.
Yeah, she was a big family person.
Because again here, and it feels where she wasn't the biggest fan of Christmas because it feels too commercialized.
I'm not sure about that.
You're not sure, because that's the little bit that I want though as well. But with your grandmother, would you understand where she was a very strong-minded lady, a strong individual?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's almost where I don't want to, I want to say she's almost like the matriarch of the family.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
And it feels where she could be very opinionated as well.
Yes.
And it feels where I know where family comes together, things stay in the family as well. They never get talked about out of the family. Understand?
Yeah, I can understand. I can take that.
Because again, it's very much that mindset that I want as well. But it feels where she was quite independent and she would have lived on her own for a period of time as well.
Yes.
Because it feels like granddad passed before her. But I also know she was a lady you could rely on. She would always be there in a family crisis or want to help.
Yes.
And I also know she offers frank advice. She's to the point.
Yes.
And would I be right in saying, because I keep on seeing this, that she would have collected buttons?
I can take that.
Because again, it's this sense of, it's almost, in fact, I'm going to go a bit further with this. It's almost where she would keep things that people would say were redundant or useless, because she'd always think there would always be a need for things like buttons and other things. So I know she would have made do and mend in certain aspects of clothing and aspects of life.
She was the seamstress. So
Okay, because I know here it's almost like it's almost where I could turn my hand to anything along those lines as well. And it feels where family members would have taken things to her to sort out.
yes.
But I also believe as well, she wasn't somebody that would shout it from the rooftops. It's almost like she was proud of it. And it's almost she had that air about her or demeanor of respect.
Yeah. Everyone respected
And
her.
where she used to live would have been that council estate. Would that be correct?
Yes.
And where she would have lived, there would have been either trees very close by to that property.
No, but she had a view that she loved. It wasn't
Okay.
trees. But
Oh, it wasn't trees, but I know I mentioned the view earlier, but I know here, because I just want to stay there for a second. Where she lived, would you know either the names of the road were such as Chestnut or Sycamore? They were all named after trees.
I don't remember the name of the
Because
road.
I know here she keeps on showing me, and I know the way that she's trying to bring my mind round to the name of those roads. But I know here it's almost that sense with her that she's just that strong character, ethics, and morals was very important to her.
Yeah.
And I also feel where she lived, she was respected by people because they knew she
Yes.
had that mindset. And it also feels here she was an advocate for other ladies. She would always stand up for the truth.
Yeah, I would say so.
I also know where we said before as well that she was very family orientated, but I know it's almost like she used to love having the family around.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel where I want to go back to Christmas is we get the day over with and it's almost like we start clearing things away. So I know she could be very orderly.
That's the only bit I can't quite take that bit, but everything else so far I can.
Bear with me, because I know here, no, bear with me. I need to understand this.
She could be describing her daughter, my mum.
That's fine. Then it's your mum then. That would make sense with my statement at the beginning because I corrected myself. I never looked at it that way. Then it must be your mum still here that was that person that wanted just Christmas out of the way.
Yes.
That's fine. Then that I'm going to stand with that because I knew what I had felt earlier. That's fine. Okay. So I'm going to just allow her to leave her love with you, but know that she's leaving strength of mind. And it also feels, Caroline, that I want to say to you, it's almost like keep your thoughts straight, because I know she wants you this year to be a good year for you, because it feels like you've wanted to change the latter part of this year to be better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I know she comes in for that reason, but I want to just bring in that celebration of Christmas and the memories we had, and there must be memories where she used to put the hats on from the crackers and things.
Yeah.
And again, it's almost the traditions of the crackers as well. Would I be right in saying she could tease your mum about your mum's thoughts of Christmas?
I'm not sure.
Because
Maybe.
because I know here it just feels where I want to push the boat out and celebrate, even though I know Mum wouldn't like it. I'm going to leave your grandmother's love with you and say thank you very much for allowing me to do that.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Thank you. Good, good, good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope that you have a wonderful Christmas, happy holidays. And if you celebrate other things at this time of year, I wish you every success and happiness too.
Thank you so much, Phil. And thank you, Kerry. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to press your raise hand button as just a thank you round of applause for Kerry and Phil. We volunteer each and every Sunday gathering. And, I think my job is easy behind the scenes, and they really work with the spirit world, and all their training and teaching really pays off. So your loved ones are healthy, well, alive, and they are around. They sure are. So just some quick announcements. First of all, I know people say this all the time, but set a place at your Hollywood at your holiday table for your loved one, or make a cup of tea and put it there with you, a second cup of tea anyways, or keep their picture with you. These little things really do mean a lot because they are with you. And so they're just memories for you to know that they are with you. With that, in 1/2 hour, actually 25 minutes from now, Kerry and Phil are hosting a community hour, just an opportunity to be together, to see each other. I don't even know what they're going to do, but we're going to be together doing it and have a little holiday cheer at the same time. So if you'd like to be part of that, it is free. I just posted in the chat box the registration link. You'll get the Zoom link after you register. But please join us just for an hour, just to be together on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day for some things coming up. This coming week, we don't have any classes as such, but on Thursday, our friends Mitch and Kath Shirley are doing a free 90-minute grief cafe. It's just an opportunity. It's not recorded, but to be with our team of advanced grief recovery specialists around the holidays, to be able to share and listen and be with some really good people. So those are very special. They happen once a month. The next one is happening at this time on Thursday. We will be together, Kerry, Phil, and I, for our New Year's Eve Sunday gathering. So you better not miss it. No, just kidding. And after it ends, we're going to be welcoming in the new year, not quite together because we're all around the globe. So we hit New Year's Day at different times around the globe. But we'll be sharing some holiday cheer with you again after the Sunday gathering next week as well. So you can find that link as well as everything else at the wedon'tdie.com page. Just click on the store. You can find the Grief Cafe. You can find that. Our new classes are open for registration. Woohoo! It's wonderful to experience a medium reading, but it's even more special to learn the tools and how your soul communicates and receives information. So you'll hear me mention this a lot on my podcasts and everything that I do. I think everyone should take a class or two with Kerry and Phil and just understand how our psychic faculty works and how mediumship works. And there's been magic that's happened in those breakout rooms. Your loved ones might not come out on a Sunday gathering in front of 200 people, but they may very well work with the student that's working with you in one of our classes. So in January, this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays in January. Tuesdays is a new class called Color and the Aura with Kerry and Phil. Get to learn all about the different kinds of colors and to do some interesting things. Wednesday, if you're brand new, we welcome you to join our Medium Level 1 class that you really work with and understand your psychic faculty. And on Thursdays is Medium Level 2, where much of that time is using that psychic faculty and connecting with the spirit world. We tell everyone, so many people offer these weekend courses in mediumship and short-term classes. I mean, this is a labor of love. there's not one of us that got all of the education we have now just by taking a weekend class. It really is getting to know the power of your soul. So don't rush it. These classes are extremely enjoyable, and there's nobody like Kerry and Phil to teach them. Also, on Mondays, we have a class with Scott Milligan called Trance and the Altered States. We spend much of the time with our eyes closed and blending with that love from the unseen world. And what else? I just aired a brand new podcast episode that is not about the holidays, but it includes a lot about the holidays. I talked to Dr. Mark Pitstick. He is one of the people behind the Soul Phone and many other things. It's an episode chock filled with good evidence of the afterlife, the update on the Soul Phone, but also a lot of direction coming from Dr. Mark on holidays and how your loved ones are with you. So I had an incredible conversation with him. He does a lot of work with helpingparentsheal.org and has created an audio that you can listen to, and there's even a YouTube video connected in the description of the episode where he takes you on a guided meditation to reconnect with your loved one. I know Kerry and Phil also have a beautiful download you can get on their website on mymediumship.com. You can find everything coming up at wedon'tdie.com. Click on the store page. A shout out to our friends who have donated to make our Sunday gathering possible. We appreciate donations. We do. We don't ask you for them, but if you have a few extra dollars to share, we certainly do appreciate that. If you go to wedon'tdie.com, you can click on the Sunday Gathering page, watch past replays, donate if you like, and also register for our New Year's Eve gala. With that, that's enough announcements. Over to Phil for some words for the week.
Thank you, Sandra, for those announcements. It does make a difference to our lives when we participate in things and come together as that community. I'm going to keep it simple, ladies and gentlemen. Merry Christmas. Christmas is about sharing. Christmas is about being together. So let's spend that time together. But in those moments where we have that time to reflect, celebrate all those things that you've learned. Celebrate all those people that have been in your life or been able to touch your life in some way that have changed your perception of life for the better, maybe, or made you look at things differently. And if we can reflect on those moments and celebrate those wins and celebrate those experiences that have made us better, then we can look forward to many, many more and to a successful new year about being happy, about enjoying life, about being kind to each other, and really having that open hand to listen, to share time together and experience people. That's to me what Christmas is about, coming together and having a mind that is open. So very simply, just be kind, give everyone a smile and just enjoy the time you have. And don't forget that your loved ones in the spirit world, even with them not being here physically with you, will still be with you and will feel their presence. So be mindful of those Christmas songs that come on that remind you of them, those Christmas programs that you used to sit together and watch. Rejoice in those memories. Have that love in your hearts for them, and I'm sure they'll all be around you. And I'm going to hand over to Kerry for the final closing prayer.
Thank you very much. I'm going to add one tiny little thing.
Did I say you could?
What Phil said there about thinking of your loved one. Mediumship works the way it does because it reunites you and your loved one in the spirit world together at the same time in a memory. You can do that by having a thought about a memory with your loved one. We guarantee you your loved one will be sharing that memory with you. You don't always need a medium, you just need to trust that they are there. Divine, ever-present light of creation, that light that shines bright, that light that shines a brightness on our world. At this time of the year, with the dark evenings, the bright stars, and those moments of coming together, may we remember the times and the people who have shaped us. May we remember the people who have allowed us that space to grow. And the people who are around us now, who walk forward with us, every person that's touched our life, may we say thank you for. For even when there were lessons learned, we would not be that person were those lessons not embraced and made part of who we are. We know as we move into that festive period, our hearts might be painful at times, our souls might remember, but we hurt because we loved, and we loved because we allowed it. The spirit world are close. Allow that love of the spirit world to put some healing over that pain of grief, knowing that we will once again be reunited. Amen.
Thank you so much, Kerry, and thank you, Phil. I love you guys so much. We're going into our closing song right now, and I just want to tell everybody, thank you for all the nice messages in the chat box. We read them all. We just don't have time to write because we're active, but thank you so much. Here's our closing song. Well, Merry Christmas, everyone. We thank you, we love you, and we will see you in a few minutes, hopefully. All right, bye, everyone.